Friday the 7th of February 2020, and I've come to the seaside on this nice sunny day, about to undertake walk SWC 13, which is a 9-miler approximately between here and Dover. The walk will replicate one that I did 8 years ago between here and Dover, and that is SWC 93C if I remember correctly, but not for the first mile or so. Thereafter it will be familiar territory, but it's a walk I haven't done, so it needs ticking off, albeit that I've walked the terrain before in another guise. As I mentioned earlier, it's a cracking day, great day to come to the seaside, nice and chill, around about 8 degrees at the moment, clear, due to cloud over by the end of the walk though, and a bit of a breeze, which is in my favour as well. It's a southerly, south easterly today, which means the noise from the busy A roads shouldn't be as bad as it could be. Right, let's press on. It's 12:30. So here we go, the countryside starts here apparently. Passing under the railway bridge with a high speed passing over it, which is what I came down here for, by. This is all part of Folkestone artworks. Bit of urban walking now, walking down Castle Hill Avenue with its former grand houses, passing a Tesco Express for those that need supplies. Now walking down the Lees, passing Lees Cliff Hall, which I've been to in my previous years as watching the Stranglers, who incidentally have just announced their final tour in the autumn. For those that might be interested in going to see them, I highly recommend it. Cracking view out to sea today. Now I've come down to the seaside on a nice brisk and sharp February day, thinking there wouldn't be many people about, particularly on a weekday, but in fact there are, which surprises me. Must be the sunshine. I noticed a boardwalk down there. That's changed since I was last in these parts. I actually did a little bit of work down in this town in '98, March. At the end of the esplanade you have the large metal arch commemorating those soldiers who passed through Folkestone in the Great War, 1914-18. God rest their souls. Well, in fact I got that slightly wrong. It's to commemorate both wars, which makes sense. Little mementos to each country that supplied men. Don't think this was here when I last did this walk. It's also got various bits of history on the wall here and accompanying music. Okay, so you don't go down the appropriately named Road of Remembrance with its fence full of poppies. Instead we take this footpath parallel with it, leaving that monument there and the arch behind us. Passing an old cemetery on my left. Church is hidden over there on the right. One of these houses, I can't tell which, was where Charles Dickens apparently wrote part of Little Dorrit, according to the notes. Interesting piece of information there. That is said Weeping Ash. There is the church under repair. Not sure what it's called. Possibly find out in a minute. St Mary and St Ainsworth. So there you go. Leave the church via the entrance with, or the exit, with 6 black metal posts there. Interesting monument here. And as you can see, it's just gone one. Crocus is out in full bloom now. Passing the British Lion. Continuing on left here. Passing the Guildhall pub. Down Bale steps. Turn right into the old High Street. Some steep steps, be cautious. Apparently this quarter is being regenerated thanks to money from the former owner of Saga Holidays. Just past the Royal George pub, now entering this narrow cobbled street. You can still see remnants of the old tram line here, as referred to in the text, and the old railway used to clearly take passengers to the port back in the day. The former port is now the harbour arm, sort of posh drinking place by the looks of it now. Bit of artwork there floating in the harbour. Very nice, this old part of Folkestone. Ship in there on my left. Grand bursting hotel there, designed in a ship style. The England coast path's now marked up down this way. Passing Sunny Sands Beach. So it seems to me that Folkestone is building on a background similar to that of Hastings. Artie and Margate come to that. Anyway, we leave Folkestone now and its artworks behind. Let's get into the hills. A bit like the one in Copenhagen. The Mermaid. just about to ascend some steps above Bacon's Gap, which apparently is the English end of a cable that links us to France and enables us to trade energy with them. Wonder if that'll continue post-Brexit. Text refers to this restaurant, the Pavilion, as being closed. Certainly closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, but I'm not sure if it's closed down permanently. It's not open today anyway. Another piece of artwork. Now entering Folkestone Warren, which I will be bypassing. I think on previous walk from Sandlin 93C I actually walked, no I never, I went over the Euro, well I can't remember. I might have walked through the Warren previously, but not today. I'm doing the cliff path with the Martello over there. So that was a shot of recently arrived boat people and how they live. Tent in a former concrete watch post. They were there, resident smoking pot. That's why I never made any commentary at the time. You never know what those people can do on that stuff. Coast Guard tower ahead. There's the coastline ahead of us. Down below is the path through the Warren, which probably could be walked today because the tide's low. The text seems to have been written for the summer walkers because it refers to sunny sands as being covered in high tide. Not today, but I'm going to take the high route. Another Martello over there being converted, I think. So here we are, point 21 of the text. Right takes you into the Warren, straight on towards the Martello takes you to the North Downs Way. My onward journey. Very weathered information panel here about the oldest and largest house in Folkestone. Mr. Wimbolt was the owner. I wonder how long that house has got to go, or if it's even currently occupied. Just leaving Jock's Pitch, apparently. Google that if you're interested. Up the lane past the newly converted Martello. Looking down on the Warren and its railway line. Yeah, it brings back memories now. I think I did walk along it. Views back over Folkestone, and I notice in the distance you can see Rye nuclear plant. Where is it there? I think it's Rye. Can't think where else it might be. Now an information panel about the Valiant Sailor. We're turning right here on the North Downs Way. Now passing chalets the other side of this chain link fence on my left, with the sea on my right. Should be pretty level now, having ascended. Just as the weathermen forecast, starting to cloud over now. The warren down below me there. Visibility's not so good now. No sights of France today, I wouldn't have thought. Well, in fact, I tell a lie. You can just make out the continent over there. Post-Brexit. Looking towards Dover, with the railway line going into the rock over there. Always reminds me, save the White Cliffs, of the view of Bray in Ireland, where the railway line goes into the rocks there. Not sure, I think it's Granny over there, I can't remember. We're now also joining the Saxon Shoreway, I notice, as well as the North Downs Way. First kissing gate of the day, so must be getting rural. So there we are, Battle of Britain Memorial.
Yeah, it's nice when the sun.
Couple of the old Spitfires. There is the Battle of Britain Memorial. God rest their souls and all they did for us. Very poignant that the memorial should be here on the White Cliffs. Brilliant. And as indicated in the text, because of the wind direction today, you can hardly hear the traffic over there. What, 250 metres away? I've got to stop using that word. It's going to be yards henceforth. Yards, feet and inches. Way I was brought up. Wonderful wildlife haven that. Now I can see waterline on the track down there. Must be a result of the strong winds last week, and even more so tomorrow, I believe. Wind's already starting to pick up, so when the tide's high, I guess the wind lifts it onto the rail line and causes disruption. The Warren, looking back towards Folkestone, wonderful wildlife area, look at that. You can hear bird song all over the place down there. Well, I can, you might not be able to. Hope the wind's not affecting commentary as it starts to pick up. Well, the house I filmed earlier is still very much occupied. Eagle's Nest, appropriately named. Point 52 of the text, coming up 2:30. Further views along the Warren. So, 2:30 as I said earlier. Let's take this bench here, donated by Ken Hooker and his dog Muffin. That's a die together. Unusual. Anyway, there's a number of seats here. I've opted for this one because it's the newest and still in the sun. This seat being just before the Clifftop Cafe and around 4 miles into the walk, so just under halfway. Just gone 2:45. Pit stop's been had, time to press on. Temperature's dropping, it's getting cloudier. Passing the seasonal Clifftop Cafe, which as you can see is very much on the cliff edge. Don't know about Clifftop. Another new housing development over there on my left, and as usual with these modern developments, I can't see a stitch of vegetation being replaced. No doubt plenty would have been removed in the building of them. They have to be forced, in my opinion, to regrow stuff that they remove, and it should be native. Interesting memento here, just on the edge of this little village. The Lighthouse Inn, over on the left now, recommended lunchtime stop I believe. Can't remember what the notes referred to, but well positioned, halfway through the walk. And immediately outside the Lighthouse Inn, this is probably the final view of Folkestone that I get before I turn the corner, Dover bound. As you can see from my handshake, wind is picking up. Thank God there's no wind farms out there. I was reading an interesting article the other day about kelp and its demise off the Sussex coast. Kelp is a kind of seaweed that creates forests underwater, and it has been massively degraded by trawlers apparently, no doubt French and continental, but yeah, it needs to be saved. So Google that, kelp off the Sussex coast, demise of the forest, the sea forest. Something else we're losing. No guessing the prevailing wind here. Now I wonder if someone can tell me what that is, or if it's native. A bit of it about here. Just walking through a little protected area. This will be my woodland walking today, all 100 yards of it. As usual, the rubbish in there was absolutely horrendous. I just don't understand the mentality of the people that do it. Potential picnic area here, so this is just beyond the Lighthouse Inn. So more like 4.5 miles halfway through. Point 56 of the text stood next to the new chalet park here, and just on my left, right coming from Folkestone, you've got the path joining from the Warren, and a handily placed bench if you want another stop for your picnic. Onward journey straight ahead. Okay, got a couple of options here. Saxon Shoreway, always have trouble with that, goes left, or the recommended route per the text is straight ahead here, below that house, which is what I shall do. Both are North Downs Way, by the way, or England Coast Path. Looking back whence I've come, the wind's really picking up now. I don't think this was forecast. Got it wrong. Didn't arrive till tonight. Passing a World War II gun emplacement. Just out of the wind here for some reason. It's funny how it's working today. Turn one corner, you're in it, turn another and you're not. Cracking views. That's one thing about winter. Skies are very clear. No haze really. Just by the gun emplacement you can see where the erosion has occurred. That's only the visible stuff. Out at sea there's probably hundreds of yards of that So these cliffs are eroding rapidly. There's another World War II memorabilia ahead of me. Just ahead of the sound mirror, they've recently, it looks like, resurfaced this track, possibly to make it a cycle path. I guess so. Let's have a look later. I see there's a symbol down by the sound mirror, some kind of post. So there is apparently a very rare sound mirror, an early form of aircraft detection. Amazing, isn't it? How times have changed. Yeah, so as you can see, this newly resurfaced track is for the NCN2, National Cycle Network 2. We're now 3 3/4 miles from Dover and 5 1/4 from Folkestone. Rye 34. Another interesting bit of artwork here on the floor, possibly telling us of some of the flowers that might be found in this meadow. Another big spot here, relating to some kind of seat, I guess. More World War II memorabilia, and coming up ahead, I'm guessing this is an air shaft for the railway line underneath us, cutting through this hill. All this World War II memorabilia. Wonder how many ghosts are around me at the moment. Sun's back out, which is good. So there you have it, 0.66 of the text. Having just come through that kissing gate. That tall aerial behind us. Somewhere around about this point is Samphire Hoe, which was the original exit and entrance for the Channel Tunnel, but obviously that never got developed, and I'm surprised to see cattle down there. Glad they're down there and not up here, mind. The ferry just leaving Dover over there. It's not too far to go down. Tomorrow. As mentioned on previous walks, notably in Norfolk I think, apparently there's always a variety of gorse out at any particular time of the year, and this particular variety's chosen February to be out. Little patch of mud now. I've noticed that where you get these enclosed sections, get a little bit muddy underfoot. Nothing to moan about though, not like bridleways. Good examples here of how nature takes over 76 years on, or thereabouts. So about 80 years since these things were built, I should imagine. So I guess that must be Samphire Hoe. Closer to it. White cliffs over there towards heading off towards Deal. Cracking day though. Save the wind. If that was down just a tad, would be lovely. that monument marks the point where the tunnel goes out to sea. That NCN2 runs beside the M2 there and has been resurfaced right up to this point as well. Good cycle track. One final view of Samphire Hoe, which looks like it makes use of former military land itself. And as you can see there, number of air vents for the railway line underneath us. So apparently I've just descended from the National Trust's round down. So there's one of the original mile posts. 122 mile to Farnham, 20 more to Dover, or sorry, Canterbury, 106 to London. Some kind of diversion here, dated the 5th of November 2019. Not sure if this is going to affect my walk or not, but they're directing you over the motorway, which seems to imply that it probably does. (4:15), at 0.75 of the text, I'm continuing on as instructed by the instructions, because that notice was referring to 5 days only, sometime in January. Well, that's elapsed. Dover Harbour, with its P&O shipping, coming into view now. Can see some work done there on the sea defences as well. Might get a better view of that in a minute. Yeah, there's the railway line and the sea defence work to protect the railway line by the looks of it. Better view of the harbour here as well. Some engineering work down there. Now going under the dual carriageway towards the Western Heights, which I seem to recall walking previously. Now about to enter the Western Heights. Over there. And I did notice cattle out in this field from my vantage point over the other side. 0.86 of the text. Managed to avoid the cattle. They were in a different corner to me, thank God. Rather dilapidated and spooky old house up there on my left. Passing the remains of Knights Templar Church, English heritage maintained, which you can Google if you want to learn more. Passing by what looks like an entrance to Western Heights. Ten to 5 now. Due to fading light, I'm going to continue direct to the railway station. 0.88 of the text. Just descended that flight of steps from near Western Heights. 0.88 of the text. Now passing the Malvern Inn near the in Folkestone Road near the railway station. Dover Castle up on the hill. So 9¼ miles and 4¼ hours later we're back at Dover Priory, and unfortunately there's no high speed for a little while, so I'm going to jump on the next one to Ashford, see what transpires. That was a very decent walk, apart from the urban sections in Folkestone and here. Aside from that, very good. And I don't remember much of it from the Sandling walk 93C either. Not much really to say other than that. Surfaces were okay, weather was good, fantastic walking. Till the next time.